Hello my crafty friends, it's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. This is the second time I'm trying to record this. The first time I was moving along and I thought yes, it's going all well, and it stopped halfway. Good one, Krista. So we'll start again. I'd like to present to you my next and probably final journal for this year. I think I said that last time, but this was a started project that I started a long time ago, and I decided to totally change it into grunge. And I absolutely enjoyed making this. I was able to utilize a lot of my laces, my trims, without coffee dyeing too much, but just enough. And I hope you enjoy the journey in this as I've enjoyed creating it. It is a soft cover pink shabby chic grunge journal, and if you love trims and love textures, this would be just ideal for you. Now it is made from cardstock, heavy cardstock that was gifted to me, and it had all these beautiful roses on the back, and of course it was white and cream, but I coffee dyed it. And I used my coloured lace, and this was off a wedding dress. It has one sewn in signature. The front is quite textured. It has lots of doily trims, and just here another one there, and I used some burlap or hessian that I coloured quite a while ago when I did the lace. Bit of cheesecloth. This is embossed cardstock that was gifted to me. Beautiful metal butterfly, lovely trim with a little bit of bling on it. Some waxed old piece of music paper, and a clock. The journal is called Time for Me. Used a few fibres, some threads, some trim, and topped the bow off with a beautiful little stick pin. And I do believe that this was gifted to me, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name. It's gorgeous, and I thought it just picks up the green for that little bit of green that's in the picture. And this picture was gifted to me as well quite a while ago. And I've used some beautiful vintage buttons as well as tabs. The closure is a soft, it was a bright gold satin ribbon, and I coffee dyed it to dull that really brightness. And the ends have got these beautiful pink mesh beads, and I bought these at a market 12 months ago. Let's go inside. Like I said, I did start this a long time ago. What I meant by start, it was like bits and pieces and laces and a couple of pages, and I've just put it aside. And of course the papers were white, the laces were white, and I thought I want to use this picture, and I wanted to use some of my doilies and tablecloths. So I've totally just about disassembled the project to make this beautiful grunge journal. Okay, let's go and have a look. As you open the cover, you'll notice these pink little blotches. When I coffee dyed these, I just used some food colouring and just sort of flicked it on just to get a little bit of pink on there. Here I've made a bag from baking paper, and I just coffee dyed that, and I covered it with some music paper, some pattern paper, some lace, tattered trim, lace trim, and I coffee dyed this. This is quite old, I can't remember where I got this from. And this beautiful little perfume shaker bottle was gifted to me by Grace from Creative Nimble Fingers, I think, or Nimble Fingers Creation. I'll leave the link below. I can always get mixed up with that. And inside you'll find this beautiful image, and this has been printed on cloth, and the cloth is then put on paper, was glued on paper. So what I've done is I've just trimmed the edges off and stitched around it so you can actually journal on it. And if you're a crafter that makes journals, you can use this. If you're purchasing this, whoever purchases this journal and is a crafter themselves, you can use this for a journal cover. And that's why I didn't want to do too much to it. Here I've made a little hidden little slit to put some tags in. A couple of perfume bottles. Lovely little tags just here. And they just slide in here. And you can journal on the front of these. And they just slide in there like that. This is a Tim Holtz. Now I was really lucky enough to get hold of, I was talked into a 6x6 Tim Holtz paper pad. I think it's 6x6, but it's more like cardstock. It's not like paper. So I get lots of goodies out of this. Tickets, because I don't have anything like that, and stamps and checks and letters and all sorts of things, numbers, lettering, just amazing. So it's probably going to last me about 2 years, that little stash, and I'll tell you the story about that at the end of the video. So here I've used one of those little cutouts from Tim Holtz paper pad. Pages are very heavily coffee dyed. I'm just going to see if I can zoom in. Very heavily coffee dyed. And here I've made a little tuck spot with this bit of cardstock off shoes. Let's go back out. And of course a little scrappy little notepad. Just popped on some fabrics and little bow. And of course Tim Holtz paper dolls. She's going shopping. She's going shopping for shoes. Time for me. So while I bought the paper pad, I also bought a bag of paper dolls. But again, I'll tell you the story about that. You'll get a chuckle out of it at the end of the video. Now the tabs are made from appliques from a tablecloth. And I was able to cut out all these segments and make them into tabs for this journal. So as you can see, and then on each tab I've popped on a gold safety pin with some beautiful buttons. Okay. Little clusters here and there. Various papers. Here's one of my Cornetto lids. Cornetto ice cream lids that I've, decoupaged and stitched around it. And this is stitched over to make it into a paper clip. Little button. And just use scrappy little bits of fabric. And that can just clip over the top. Here I've used a pretty trim. I had a fair bit of this. I've got not much left of it now. It's like pleated. You can actually cut this in half and use two sides, which I have done previously, but I wanted to keep this whole. And then I had this pretty organza white polka dot ribbon that I actually coffee dyed as well. Little bit of decoupage of a clock, seeing the journal is time for me. You've got to make time for yourself. 2020 has been seen a lot of challenges, so let's have time. You've got to make time. You've got to make time for family. Let's make time for friends. But what about time for me? And that's what this journal is about. So she's having time out, having a cup of tea, and probably looking at the birds or listening to birds. And that's just a little tuck. Another tab. Altered envelope, decoupaged. On the back is one of my own little collage bits of paper. Here's another little scrappy notepad. And an embossed paper ruffle. And this is just a snippet. It's come from Pinterest. And I just fussy cut her out to put her on there. Dolling herself up to go out. She's got the ticket. Here's one of those cute little funny shaped envelopes. I can never remember the name, I'm sorry. And decoupaged, used some doily trim and this pretty little trim here. It was white, and of course I end up colouring it in 2 colours. This was a 12 by 12 cardstock. It had all various shaped sort of like tags, and I thought, oh, I could make a lot of tags out of this. It was gifted to me, a whole bunch of it, so I was actually absolutely stoked. So I coffee dyed this as well. A bit of snippets here. This came off a beautiful, beautiful doily. It was a trim. It's come from a deceased estate, so I have no idea how old that is. Just love how that coffee dyed come out. This is one of my wax drawer lining papers, and to utilise the back of it, I've popped on a belly band, and it's decoupaged. I made this quite a while ago. I've just put on more on here, and just holds a bit of scrappy note. Just some paper here to journal on. So some pages are torn, some pages are fancy cut, some pages are straight. Here's some of that beautiful burlap or Hessian fabric, and I actually frayed it and used all the long pieces to make a bow to go with this beautiful beautiful trim just there. With a tab, bit of decoupage, beautiful lace. This is a file folder that I cut down. This is from when I did the coffee dyeing, and I had various things underneath, and the plastic that I used, the drop sheet and other papers, and it's come out, made this beautiful little pattern. Here you can see a paper that was on there as well. Little tassel and just a bit of collage of fabric, cheesecloth and a little metal piece. And here is my paper ruffle, and I actually put it through the embosser, embossed, you know, sections by sections, and then just inked it, or chalked it I should say. And on the other side you've got a little notepad, January, February, just with a little bit of collage of various fabrics, cheesecloth, some more of that polka dot ribbon, and a little bit of tulle, and this tiny little clock. After all, it's time for me. And this was a seed envelope or seed packet, and I've just heavily colour dyed this. Bits of different paper, bit of fabric that sort of corresponds with this. It's like a pinstripe fabric. Here I've got these cool tags. They come off my husband's boxer short that he bought, and I thought, oh, I can use them. They've already got a little chain on here. So I took all the wax off, and yeah, so they're decoupaged, so they'll just go in here. And this envelope is magnetic closure, just like that. And this is just a bit of trim from this lace fabric here. On the other side I had a piece of paper. I just put it through some embossed, I embossed this, and this is the other end of these tabs. Okay, so it sort of come down here. So yes, it's beautiful. This one here is a bag, a cutlery bag. It holds cutlery in a paper napkin that when you go to a restaurant or a motel, that's what they serve them in. So I've kept them. I've got a few of these, and I coffee dyed it and flipped it over, so it holds a couple of tags and another tag just here. Time for me. She's an artist, so she's taking time out to do some art. This goes back in here. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Now these tags here, they are just price tags, big price tags. And when I was at my brother's, I coffee dyed them I had nowhere to put them, so I put them in the car. Laid them out on a big tray, and they cooked in the car, or baked in the car. So that come up pretty cool. And just slightly inked them with a bit of, should say chalk, pink chalk, brown chalk. On the back I've popped on some brown paper so that you can actually journal on the back. And they just sit in this little pocket here. Okay, and stitched around it. And then on the back I've put some paper on as well so you can actually journal on this as well. And then I've made a little altered rusty paper clip just here with a shoe, little bow, and it sort of holds all that in place. Another paper ruffle, very heavy coffee dyed. It's amazing how this, I don't know how that, the patterns come from the plastic, because I scrunch all this big sheet of plastic on the floor and then I just plonk the paper on it. When it's half dry, I peel the paper off, turn it around, and it leaves all these marks. Cheesecloth. Now and again I've put cheesecloth and fabrics just to break it up a little bit. Here's a little flip, okay, and just a little surprise little picture. This is a fabric flip, little ruffle, pink ruffle, another altered paper clip. This one I just used my embroidery threads, a little bit of snippet there, bit of paper. And here is the other end of the waxed drawer lining paper, and I've made an envelope with the other part, and it's got some more papers in here, May and June. I think I've got them wrong way around. There should be another two somewhere. I'll have to swap them over when I see them, when I find them. And that just, and I've just stitched some of that beautiful trim on there. Here I've used a polka dot tulle. It's come off a little girl's tutu dress, and I've heavily coffee dyed this. This is another one of the 12 by 12 cardstock, and it had all the various shapes of tags, and I'll just cut that out. What's it say? The best is yet to come. 2021, watch out. Lots of threads. If you don't like the threads, please cut them off. Here I've did a bit of decoupaging, little ruffle. She's a cutout from Pinterest that I had for quite a while, and I decided to use her. Here I've made a little tuck spot, music paper, and this was gifted to me. It's an embossed, I don't know what it is, some sort of fabric, or I don't know, but yeah. This was gifted to me as well. This tag had that for yonks. I just popped on some music paper, little trim, and then on the back of this tag I've made another little price tag, little ticket. And check out the little Tim Holtz girl, little ballerina. How appropriate was that? Isn't she gorgeous? Like I said, I'll tell you the story about that one. Okay, the other side of did I? Oh yeah, the other side of the altered envelope. Okay, and here I've got a stack of petty cash vouchers. Okay, that I heavily coffee dyed and put on a little piece of paper ruffle that I had left, and that just goes on here. So there's plenty of room to journal on in this journal. Here I've made a little, you can use this as a little bookmark, okay, and you can also journal in this, just like that. And that's paper napkin on a, oh here we go, had it upside down. There you go, had it upside down. I use that for the top. It should be that way. Okay, so might just put her here. Can I put her here? Can I put her there? Yes. And then on the other side of the envelope we have another little Tim Holtz paper doll, and this is from a 6x6 Tim Holtz paper pad that had all the various tickets, letters, whatever, and I cut each out and crumbled it up and that's her perfect attendance certificate. Time for me. Good on ya. Here I've got, well, that's not going to work. I'm just going to put this paper clip back in here where it was. This is just a little flip up that I've put a little bow on. Decoupaged. Okay. This journal is great to, you know, document your moments that are special to you. Little snippet of a doily. Beautiful vintage button just here. Here this came off a top, and look at this beautiful pearl button just there. So I think it's mother of pearl, one of those buttons, and just use some of those fibres. Here's another tuck spot. I used one of these as a tuck spot. I cut these out quite a while ago. Can't remember what, I think it might have been Pinterest. This out of a magazine. A little bit of my pinstripe fabric just on there, and this backed with the inside of an envelope. Paper ruffle. Don't you just love the sound of that? Here is a decoupage. This was part of a big napkin and had these books there, so I fussy cut that out, and then I put these two ladies on there. Okay, they look as though they're really hanging out of the library, or, you know, time for me. They're having time with each other there. They might be at a library, who knows, museum maybe, but yeah, they look relaxed. Some more trims, little pom-pom fabric, ruffle. This was a die cut that was gifted to me a while ago, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was from. Actually, it might have been from Grace, Creative Nimble Fingers. I'm sure it was. And then I just cut her out from Pinterest. And behind that, it's an actual envelope. Okay, and I lined, because it was blue, with this beautiful pink fabric, or paper it is. And I've made this scrappy little tag to go in it. And here we have an altered paper clip and a bingo card that you can journal on if you wish. And that's just, you know, from scrappy bits. And I've just popped them on there. And that just goes back here. Actually, I might put that over here. It doesn't look so clustered. Over here, that'll do. No. There, that's better. Okay, here's some of that beautiful vintage edging of the tablecloth, I think. No, doily. This was sheeting that I coffee dyed. I colour blended all the edges. And here's the other side of that splattered pink page. Now we come into the back. As you can see, the paper had that design on it, the cardstock, and once it coffee dyed, it came up pretty cool. This is one of my waxed gift wrapping papers. Okay, I'll wax this with a lavender candle, so the smell is just divine. Some more of that trim, and here is March. Now there's those papers I was looking for, March and April, so I'll have to swap them around. And then this one here has got, it's a little envelope. Folds out and you can journal on that, and it just tucks behind this little vintage button. Tucks behind the pocket. And there's my label, and I hand written that on my I think it's drill cotton, and sewed it onto the pinstripe fabric. And this is just a little journaling card off Pinterest, of course. Had this for a long time, and that just tucks in here. And just a little snippet of the applique there. And the journal does have book corners on all four corners. The bow, of course, is just beautiful. It's coffee dyed with those lovely big beads. It does stand up on its own. So if you wanted to display it on your dressing table or bedside table to record some of the moments and memories. I'll give you the measurements for this now. It's nearly 9 inches, which equates to 22.5 centimeters. 6 inches, which equates to about 15.5 centimeters. It has one signature which is sewn in with my sewing awl, and I can't remember the amount of pages. I think it's 15, so you've got 30, 60 front and back, plus all your notepads and tags and you name it. So yes, so this will be listed in my Etsy store. And if you haven't visited my Etsy store, please pop over. I've got some great little journal bundles that include the postage within Australia as well. So make great little gifts. Christmas just around the corner. Let me know of your thoughts. I really enjoy making this. Now, story about those paper dolls. When we were up in Brisbane a couple of weeks ago, it was for my husband's appointments. He could be having another cochlear implant, so it'll be his second one. His other ear is gone as well now. And so we stayed with my brother, and I said to my brother, you know what, I'd like to go to Spotlight. I said, I don't get an opportunity to go where we are. And he said, all right, sis, let's have a day out. Well, he didn't know what he got himself into, did he? I dragged him through every crafting aisle there was, through every fabric aisle there was. And he says to me, my goodness, I didn't know a crafter could have so much fun in just this sort of fabric shop. Anyway, I was looking out for a particular punch, and just sort of seeing what sort of prices everything was. And anyway, they had some specials, and lo and behold, there was a 6x6 Tim Holtz pad, and I said, oh, I'd love one of these. And he said, well, why don't you? I said, well, it's new. I like to recycle stuff, you know me. And he goes, well, you can reward yourself, sis. You know, there's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself. And it's so true, isn't it? So true. So he persuaded me to buy this 6x6. Well, I don't know whether it's a paper pad or cardstock, but it's quite thick. And he said to me, knowing you, you'll take every piece out of that, and that'll last you probably about 12 months and 2 years. And he's so right, because every piece can make something without using the whole page. And I think that's the whole idea, isn't it? You know, look at all the numbers, the bingo cards and tickets. I don't have any of those. I have now. Then we've got the big letters. I mean, how cool is that? That's just amazing. And big numbers. Then this one has got stamps. I do have some stamps, but look at all these. It's just, and look at these pictures. You know, these pictures are just amazing. You know, I can cut out some of these as well. Some butterflies. Here's some more clocks. I'm going to make another steampunk journal, but that's not going to happen till next year. But look at all these yumminess. And look at this from a steampunk journal. Oh my goodness. It's just, yeah, it's just, and letters. So, I have plenty. So, no, I didn't feel guilty. And of course, right next to us was Tim Holtz paper dolls, and he goes, oh, so you like them too? And I goes, oh yeah, I've used all the ones that were gifted to me. He says, well, go on there. I said, oh my goodness. So I did. So I've actually bought something new. Felt weird about it, but you know, sometimes I think you can reward yourself, and you should. So that was my time. Anyway, enough gas bagging now. This will be listed in my Etsy store, so by the time you finish watching this, it will be up there. And another one of my kind journals. So my store will probably be closed over Christmas, but I'll put all the dates up there in due time. And until then, you know what you've got to do. I won't be doing much anymore. I'll just be finishing off little bits and pieces for happy mails and Christmas gifts. And but I know you go ahead and have a good time and craft, and stay warm in overseas, and stay cool here in Australia. It's going to be 42 here today, so it's going to be a scorcher. And I hope everyone in America had an awesome Thanksgiving, considering what's going on over there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your ongoing support. And I do apologise if I don't put enough videos up. I'm hoping next year will be a little bit different, but I just enjoy my crafting when the flow goes, the flow goes. I might even be having a giveaway soon too. That might be just my last video going up. And you don't have to send anything in. So you know what you've got to do. Have an awesome day, and thanks again. Bye for now.